Big Banana has a lot to answer for.
Welcome to the Customer Commerce Podcast, where technology's fast and biz is a blast.
In life and in business, time is precious. It's why customers stay or leave and why businesses succeed or fail. We're here to give a voice to everything that makes business, whether as a customer or as a CEO, easier and more rewarding. Welcome to the Customer Commerce Podcast. Let's dive in.
Shut on acquaintance with No?
No.
No,
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
2025.
Jess is the official singer for the Customer Commerce Podcast. She's way overqualified for the role, I have to say. But she's not the background singer for us. She's the front. I'm her backup singer.
Yeah, David's going to be the backup dancer, aren't you?
David will definitely be a backup dancer. He does a really mean interpretive customer commerce dance.
I do.
We're going to have to get a video of that. Ladies and gents.
I think you're like the shining, Jess, I think you're the shining ball that drops in Times Square.
Oh, gracefully I drop, right?
Very gracefully. Very gracefully.
Yeah.
Have we even said hello yet? Have you even introduced us? What's happening?
When I do this is my orchestration to hush. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new series. It's season 2, a new year, new amigos, not new amigos, the current.
Same old amigos.
Same old amigos.
Rehashed, recycled from 2024.
But we are opening the brand new year with another Customer Commerce podcast. It's technically episode 28, but season 2.
Season 2. Episode 1.
28. Guys.
New season, new year, new life.
Yeah. And there's a lot happening. I mean, we've got quite a few topics we want to go through. So I think we should just start. And then at the end of the episode, we're going to give our predictions on this 2025. What do you say?
Sounds good. Let's go.
Love it. Okay, so first and foremost, we are overdue for David's reaction on the reveal of the Jaguar. We did an episode a couple of weeks ago, and the reveal happened. And I want to know, drum roll, what happened, David?
Well, basically, so here's the interesting thing.
Doubled down.
So Jaguar came out with what I call a neon-colored Cirque du Soleil models to sort of sit around and pose in different things. I'm not sure what they were supposed to communicate or not communicate over this 30-second reveal. There was no vehicle shown. And so, but what was fascinating was about 10 years before that, Mercedes-Benz came out with a commercial with no product shown, except in what it did to show its suspension, it actually had chickens. And it actually did this incredible thing with regard to showing the actual suspension due to the fact that the chicken's head never quite moves, the body moves. And it was a great visual example, but it got incredible traction, no pun intended. It got incredible traction, and that worked. Whereas Jaguar's thing to me, it was ridiculous for the following reasons. One is it was introducing something in a bizarre way on a brand that really had lost its luster in the public eye. It's like it's recognized as a legendary vehicle, but not like, ooh, something I want to have right today. So they introduced something showing no product, then to an audience that really was not defined. And then when they did the reveal, the interesting thing is they got a lot of people talking. Now, if they got a lot of people talking and they did the reveal in Miami on December 2nd, I believe it was, that it was, hey, ta-da, guys, we were only joking. Here's the actual really cool thing that we're showing you. That would have been brilliant because it would have been a gotcha moment. But instead, what they did is they literally showed a car. Some people complained that it looked like something out of someone's Illustrator final graduating assignment. But it's not even an existing vehicle. It doesn't exist and will not be in production, if ever, for a year. So they got attention on something questionable to an audience that was questionable, displaying something that doesn't yet exist. If that's not the holy trifecta for what the hell are you guys thinking, I don't know what is.
Yeah, and it's not even a car; it's a prototype. Like prototypes get released by car companies all the time, and they're like, maybe one day we'll build this.
Right. So it's like, everyone's scratching their heads, and so yeah, it was. I think it was a very horribly executed concept that could have been brilliant. If it was a prank, it would have been ingenious because everybody was talking. Now, not for the right reasons, but if it was like a gotcha moment, that would have been brilliant. Which they didn't do.
Very underwhelming.
By the way, I loved the Mercedes chicken ad.
The chicken. It's brilliant. Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go onto YouTube and just Google Mercedes-Benz chicken and watch it. And not a single car is shown, but you totally get the concept that Mercedes cars are really smooth to drive in. Amazing. And you'll see why. And it's really well done. Very, very, very clever.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, the prototype does look cool. It's pink, is it? Or is that just like the design?
I think that's just the coloring of the lighting. It's like, I think the Jaguar prototype. Look, the prototype looks interesting. It's like, okay, fine. They're going in a new direction.
Future.
But the challenge is that who are they marketing this thing to?
That is the question.
You know, is their target market really people that are attracted to that ad who want to have their identity be that ad? And is that market big enough for a probably $150,000 car?
Yeah, I think it was about 100. I think it was 170 to 180,000. And does that audience actually have the dispensable income, which
to do it? You know, I mean, traditional Jaguar buyers are very rich entrepreneurs or very established banker types, and you know, the traditional Jaguar is the same type of thing that people buy James Bond cars, and anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Fail Jaguar, fail. You have failed the customer commerce trend, and if you do exceedingly well in the next 5 years, I will eat my words, and we'll do that on this podcast. Let's go to the next story.
All right. Well, the next
left
story,
me shaken and not stirred is what it left me.
Shaken and not stirred. Yeah, I've been shaken.
Okay, well, the next story is going to go to another nay, but we've got the yays as well. Mm-hmm. So this one is the topic is Shopify has 1.1 billion in outstanding payday loans. So I came across this LinkedIn post, but this is kind of over the last year I've heard a lot about it. So Shopify provide these quick loans for those that are with Shopify. So if you're a business and you have the Shopify, dashboard comes up, you qualify for these instant payday credit loans.
Yeah. Well, they're not really a payday loan. They're touted as a instant liquid credit in order to buy merchandise to sell on the Shopify platform. That's what it's positioned at. So like you're a small business and you need an extra 10 grand to buy small merchandise so you can sell it on Shopify. I think the problem is that they're giving it to anyone for anything, pretty much, allegedly.
I think that's part of the problem. The other problem, I mean, isn't it 20 to 40% interest?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, this podcast that I was listening was this business owner who runs a clothing brand in Australia. And the whole episode was about her kind of seeing this thing and being like, great, I'm going to one button. And then the money was literally in her account. It was about $50,000 and instantly she was in debt. She didn't realize that the payments were going to come out of her sales. So she was making little to no money whatsoever. And she was basically trying to get out of that situation as fast as possible. But I wanted to hear your opinions for business owners on that side. Any advice, Michael, as a business owner that is involved in tech specifically?
Oh, I mean, the statement, if it's too good to be true, it is. It still rings true, man. Look, Shopify aren't doing anything illegal in any way, shape, or form. This is them offering a line of credit to business people for them to have a short-term loan and a credit loan. The challenge is that money is expensive, and I think maybe I don't really want to speak to what Shopify are thinking on this, but it's obviously very lucrative to offer this. You have a business who's selling through your platform and you have first dibs on their cash on any sales made through that platform. So the only way really to renege on that loan would be to shut down your Shopify store and not make any more sales and move it somewhere else and then pay them according to whatever terms comes out of it. And this lady, if she spent that 50 grand on something that wasn't income generating, that's going to bankrupt you faster than you can say yes please. You know, if you're taking money for a business purpose and it's a loan, you better 100% be making sure that that money is going towards something that's going to actually generate you income, right? The only reason that I could think of for taking a loan via Shopify for that sort of thing would be, we're coming up to Black Friday. I need another 10 grand worth of stock. I don't have the 10 grand worth of stock. I know I'm going to sell the 10 grand worth of stock. So I will spend 11,000 to buy the 10,000 worth of stock, which is the 10,000 in stock plus the 1,000 in interest that I'm going to pay, because I know I can sell it for 20. I'll make 9 grand profit instead of 10 grand profit, but I'll make the 9 grand profit. Whereas previously I wouldn't have made anything at all. But if you're taking these loans out for a bit of extra cash to be good for Christmas, I mean, wow, it's more expensive than a credit card.
Yeah, but if you've got a 20 to 40%, I mean, interest that you're paying, I mean, you're.
But the idea is, I mean, it is incredibly expensive, but the idea is you shouldn't be taking it. It's 20 to 40% annualized interest, right? Mm. These sorts of loans are really for something that you're going to get today and in 2 weeks' time be paying back in full, right? They are not a long-term loan option. Yeah. And if they've got 1.1 billion in outstanding payday loans, that's wild. That would be making them so much. I mean, they're basically making, I don't know what they're making, but if it's 20 to 40% interest, they're making between $200 and $400 million a year profit on that.
But doesn't that also show how businesses aren't really able, or they're not in the position, like business owners aren't really thinking with that responsibility of like, cool, if I'm going to take this loan, because to have that much backlog is showing that business owners don't know what the hell.
Well, Shopify is also exceptionally big, right?
That's true.
But it is true. You know, one of the challenges Shopify has as a company is that their target market are people that want to start a business. And those people are exceptionally uneducated on average, right? Some are brilliant, obviously, but most don't know what they're doing. This is the first business that they're starting. I think the Shopify failure rate, David, I think we researched this at one point. It was some crazy figure, like 60 or 70% or higher don't make it through the first year. You know, it really is crazy. And there's probably, you know, I'm sure Shopify have all the disclaimers in the world on the thing saying, seek independent financial advice before you do this and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's not a bad thing. It speaks more to the business savviness of the business owner. And look, I've been there. I've taken loans that have been exceptionally expensive and I've dug myself into incredible holes, and you learn and you dig yourself out and you think twice in the future. And that's the way it is. But yeah, I'd highly recommend to any business owner who's looking at taking one of those loans, you need a way of knowing that you're going to pay it back in like a month.
But that's a good tip. Wherever that money is going, is it going to a money making?
Yeah, it has to
generate more. Yeah.
Yeah. The only way you can take money from somewhere else is if you can generate money from it. And if you're not, then in terms of business, right? I mean, buying your house, or there are other reasons to get debt, but in terms of business, taking a loan for operational expense is never a great idea.
Nope. Agreed.
Unless you have a very, very, very clear path out. But even then, the money that's coming in should be creating you more income than it's costing you, right? It's like any business thing. You wouldn't buy this pen for $1.50 and then sell it for $1, right? That's not a sane business process. And it's the same thing. If you're taking loan money in, you're taking $100 in, but you're paying $120 for it. If you're not earning $150 or $200 from that $100 in, then you're just losing money.
Interesting.
Buyer beware. But yeah, again, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And look, it's easy to say that as a business owner. My key tip for any business owner that sees, these payday loans, or here we can lend you some money. I get 2 or 3 of these a week, people offering me money, right? It's constant. Wow. My key tip for someone who hasn't done this and is a bit like, should I take it? Should I not? I mean, it looks good. Just find a friend who's been in business for 20 years and just give them a quick call and say, hey, Frank, what do you think? Or, hey, Georgina, I just saw this loan come across. You've been in business for a while. What do you think? They'll give you 3 or 4 very, very rapid fire, because we've all been there. We've all gone through it. We've all suffered the pain, amnesia, anxiety, and sleepless nights as a result. Just call someone that you know who's been in business for a decent time, like I'm talking 10 years plus, and they'll give you the lowdown on it, and they'll set you straight.
Great tip. Love that. All right, so now moving on to a nicer, I think, you guys might have a completely different viewpoint, but this came up on my Twitter and NBC News covered it. An auction happened with a piece of art, and I've put a little photo in the chat so you guys can see it as well.
Oh, the banana.
The art piece is called Comedian, and it's by an artist called Maurizio Catalan. I hope I've pronounced that right. He's an Italian artist, and a cryptocurrency entrepreneur, Justin's son, dropped $6 million on this piece of artwork. And the reason that he said, I thought I'm going to read this out because, okay, so basically the story is the soon-to-be devoured banana wasn't included in his winnings as the fruit tends to rot quickly. But the value of the artwork isn't in the banana itself. It's derived from the certificate accompanying the purchase. What you buy when you buy Comedian, the name of the artwork, is not the banana itself, but a certificate of authenticity that grants the owner the permission and authority to reproduce his banana and duct tape on the wall as an original artwork by the artist. So I think it's hilarious and strange at the same time. And I want to talk about it because the banana isn't the piece of art, but I guess the concept of what you do with it.
The certificate. I did. I as soon as I saw that, I did something similar with my newest book. I actually duct taped it and put it on some white canvas and actually made it available and just said bidding start at $1 million, and so it's very simple.
Okay, but look, here's the thing. I don't know who bought it. I don't know them. I don't know their tax situation. I have no commentary about what their income levels are. So my next statement has nothing to do with them. Have I disclaimed this enough?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So on a completely different topic, did you know, Jess, that art purchases, if they depreciate in cost, are 100% tax deduction?
Really?
Mm-hmm. So if you buy a $6 million piece of artwork and it goes to 0 in value, you now have a $6 million tax deduction on your books. Totally unrelated, I'm sure. Nothing to do with this story whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. But that might be something for future people if you're looking to buy my latest piece of art, which is called Bunch of Grapes Stuck on the Wall. And actually, I've given it the name called Grapes of Wrath. It's a great art piece. And if you leave it there long enough, it becomes wine, which is good. You do have to stomp on it a bit.
Do you include a cork?
I think...
Do you include a cork?
Huh?
Do you include a cork?
I include a cork. Yeah, for an extra $500,000. So, yeah, there's definitely tax implications that this people in similar situations may wish to take advantage of.
I feel like my mind's being blown. So that can be a reason that people buy
expensive art. Well, totally, 100%.
I didn't even know. I'm gonna have to add that as a clause to my my duct taped book.
Yeah.
That's
Art is an interesting store of value. If you've got a lot of money, where you put it can be a problem, right? So you might buy a Rembrandt or something, but that's going to appreciate in value most likely, right? I guarantee you rotten banana on wall with duct tape is not going to appreciate in value. So there's another reason that person has bought it. I would say. I don't think he's bought it for its investment value. Let me just communicate that.
Wow. Well, then it's a nay to me now. It was a yay because I was like, how dope that this guy's made, $6 million. This artist who's in Italy living it up with all his bananas. Maybe he has a banana tree. Who knows? That's okay. It's become boring to me now. It's not really that interesting.
I just can't imagine that someone with a complete brain would dump $6 million on a banana that's been duct taped to the wall.
But hang on, there
has to be another reason.
Yeah, but it wasn't like this guy was like, I see this piece of artwork and I'm going to put $6 million on it. There was an auction, so it's many other people.
This is through Sotheby's, and it was auctioned off for 6.2
Look,
million.
I'm sure there's value, right? I'm just saying there might be additional potential reasons as to why this item is worth $6 million.
Totally makes sense.
It's certainly the most highest powered potassium I've ever actually heard of.
You'd hope it gives you bloody superpowers. All right, moving on. That story was completely.
Did you know that it's also radioactive? All bananas are radioactive.
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious. 100%.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Go look it up after this.
What do I have to put on sunscreen before I eat one?
Probably, but all down the insides.
Where's the source for that, Michael? I have to include it in the show notes.
Bananas are radioactive. This is a well-known fact.
Bananas are high in potassium, okay?
Yeah,
let's leave it at that.
They're high in potassium, but I think cucumbers or avocados are way higher. Like, they're not actually that much. Anyway, whatever.
You're breaking my heart. Okay.
Big banana has a lot to answer for.
Okay, so I want to go to the next one then. Maybe this one has promising future.
That's probably the soundbite at the start of this video. Big banana has a lot to answer for. That's like the pull text.
All right. What do we think of a PlayStation becoming also a pizza warmer?
Brilliant.
Great. The PlayStation and Pizza Hut have collaborated, and they've come up with their new PlayStation 5 also being a machine or having the ability to warm your pizza up, which I think is hilarious and genius. And also, I love when companies collaborate like this. It just makes life so much fun. I think
it puts human into the transaction.
I think if they just added it, sweetened up the deal with just a duct taped banana on the side of it, it would really make it.
I mean, this is fantastic. It's not necessarily a new idea, but it's a great idea. I mean, KFC came out with a console, the chicken warmer console in 2000. They actually ripped it off from someone back in the early 90s, I remember, where you used to have these big tower computers with the big 5.25-inch CD-ROM drive things that would pop out. Someone replaced one of those trays with a pull-out tray that was a food warmer. So this has been around for a little bit, but all power to you, Pizza Hut. A PlayStation is pretty big, so that's going to fit your pizza, and it's a great idea. And why not? Do they give it away for free, or do you have to pay for it?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe you get it for free if you order like 50 pizzas over the year or something. That would be genius.
Well, here's a little parallel for you. Some years ago, there was on Kickstarter, there was a guy who created a cooler that had speakers and a blender and all this stuff. And instead of calling it a cooler, he called it Coolest, right? And raised $13,285,000 on Kickstarter with over 62,000 backers. So that's taken the concept that you like,
Did he ever deliver?
But what's that?
Did they deliver it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just the bottom line is though, I mean, it's just the idea of bundling. If you could bundle stuff that people do, and it even at the time had, and this is probably at a point in the year that it came out, you didn't have certain like wireless Bluetooth type things and stuff. But so it was like, a USB connector and a this and that. So, I mean, you could literally kind of do almost pretty much anything you could think of if you're out going wherever and you want to hang out in the woods and whatever and such like that, and just have drinks and have food and this and blah, 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 blah. But anytime you could bundle, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I agree. It's like experience stacking. It's like taking an experience already that's so enjoyable and then putting something else. And it's like a win-win situation. I think it's very clever.
It'll be like the world's finest espresso machine in the world's most glorious luxury vehicle. Like that would be
Surely that's going to happen. Maybe Jaguar. Maybe that's how Jaguar.
Maybe that's
not,
their comeback.
Not Jaguar.
Copy nothing. Espresso.
Okay, on to the next one, which is it's related to Australia. Sorry, David, but I want to hear. Well, there's two things actually, because apparently TikTok is going to be banned in America very shortly. That's the rumor that's going around. But on another side of that,
I'd be very surprised if TikTok gets banned in America with a new administration coming in, to be honest. That's a little
Really?
There's been some stuff on the news of late that tide seems to be shifting.
Yeah, and the main reason that TikTok was being gone after is that, to be blunt, it's a platform that people can get behind on banning because it's Chinese owned, and there's a lot of drumbeat about China v America. But fundamentally, it more sets a precedent, because if TikTok can be banned, then X or Facebook or anyone else can be banned. And that's really the plan there. So anyway, I don't think it's going to be banned, to be honest.
Interesting. Okay. Well, in Australia, it seems that a new law has been passed. I'm not sure when it's actually going to be put into action, but there's a social media ban for under 16-year-olds. So starting in late 2025, this year, we're not in 2024 right now. We're in the future. Platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok must restrict access or face fines up to $49.5 million. I don't know what that's
I'm
wild.
amazed. I'm amazed. So that's a fine that could be actually put upon any one of those platforms, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is, in my opinion, incredibly chilling. And the reason I say that, I'm a parent. I've got a 6-year-old. So this directly affects me, and I should be the target market for this law. I should be like, yeah.
Mm.
I'm totally against it. And the reason I'm totally against it is not that I don't want to protect my daughter from social media. That's not the point. The point is twofold. One, it should be up to us to decide, like as a parent. It's my job to look after my daughter. It's not the government's job. So that's one. But the second thing, which I think no one's really thinking with, or very few people are thinking with that are pro this, is the only way that companies will be able to comply with this legislation is require that every person that uses their platform identify themselves with government ID. And every social media platform in the world now is going to have to require that you upload your passport or your driver's license in order to gain access to the platform, which means every social media platform that wants to operate in Australia is now going to contain a database of everyone's personal information. Everyone.
But
and they have no way to not do that, because the government's going to come along at some point and go, so you gave access to Jess. And they go, yeah. How do you know she's old enough? Is she over 16? I mean, we think so. Her posts are good. Yeah, but did you verify that? And bam, $49 million fine. I don't know. I just think that requiring these organizations, it also puts an absolute stop on any new social media platform launching in Australia, because you can't use network effects. So the way social media works is when you're starting a social media company, you want to invite all your friends. You need to make that as simple as possible to get enough critical mass of people in order to create the network effect. Right now, with this law in place, no new social media platforms can launch in Australia. Like, it will just never happen. Because would you go to a brand new platform and upload your driver's license in order to show who you are? You're just not going to, right? So it turns that off. It massively increases the regulatory cost of operating in Australia for any of these organizations. And it means that those organizations now have another sledgehammer from the government hanging over their head that they can just be whacked with if they ever do anything the government doesn't like. You know, you start protesting the current government in Australia on social media, and the government contacts that social media company and says, take Michael's posts offline because he's spreading misinformation. You know, our Prime Minister absolutely did not pressure the New South Wales government to upgrade the road to his beach house for a cost of $100 million with no business use case. Not that that happened recently. I mean, it's a very specific example that I'm giving. But, you know, that absolutely did not happen. And Michael Lindsar's saying that it did. So you need to take him offline. Oh, sorry, we can't do that. Free speech laws. Oh, who's this other person over here? There's a $49 million fine. You better give me all that information in the next 12 hours. Or we're going to bill you $500 million. Or you can take Michael off. I mean, your choice. You know, it's just terrifying to me that the Australian government's now getting to a point where they're going to be able to, boom, take any speech they don't like offline. I was going to say I didn't sign up for that, but I didn't sign up to be an Australian citizen, so I guess I can't really say that. But, you know, it's like, what are we? A dictator state? I mean, it's happening in the UK. People are getting jailed for saying that they don't like that some immigrants are living on their street. Jail.
Do you think there's any good in it in terms of the intention of the kids?
It's not about the kids. I guarantee it. And the way I know that is because both of our political parties are behind it. Right? That Labor and Liberal, both, like, it'd be Democrats and Republicans coming together unanimously to push through a bill. You just know it's not good for you. Like, it's just a truism in government, right? The reason it's being put in place, from my viewpoint, is 100% control of the social media platforms and to control the narrative moving forward. And if they wanted to ban kids, like if they wanted to protect kids, like, here's a mind-blowing fact, right? YouTube is covered by this. X, Facebook, Twitter, like Instagram, Roblox, they're all covered by this ban, right? Call of Duty is not. Pornhub and every pornographic website is not covered. So you need to upload your driver's license to get access to Facebook, but you don't need it to get access to Pornhub. So how is that, like, what?
Doesn't make sense.
So, anyway, this is not a political podcast, but I think, you know, fundamentally it's a problem with all sorts of levels of whatever. And we should probably get back on topic of customer commerce. But anyway, that's my viewpoint on it.
All right. Well, how about we thank you for that, Michael. How about we uplift it now to have, you know, what are our hopes for 2025? What are our hopes this year in the land of commerce?
That David, social media bad gets cancelled. Oh, sorry, did I bring it back?
David, what's one of your hopes this year? What do you want to see more of this year?
In terms of just business in general, or just
commerce, customer commerce, because that's the actual world that we're in.
Yes, I would love for there to be. I think it's been a while. Like, occasionally in business, there's kind of like things plot along, and there's different technical advances and this and that, the other. So whether it's like with, phones or things or technologies or computers, this, that, the other, there's kind of blah, 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 blah. And there's little iterations. And then someone changes something dramatically. And everyone's like, oh my God, look at all of that potential. I would love for there to be in 2025 something that changes the rules of the game. And I don't mean legal, illegal. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that, like, all of a sudden introduces a whole new, like, oh my God, no one has thought of that before. That changes everything for ease for customers, for ease for business owner. I mean, like, something that just dramatically, irrefutably, everyone's like, how come no one's thought of this before? I think that would be a dramatic, wonderful shift, because I feel like we're at a point in time where there's not a day that goes by where there's not some new AI thing or new this or new. It's like we are like shiny object to the max. It's almost impossible to keep up with anything as far as this and that, the other, or new features, or version 1.9 or 2.0 or blah, blah, blah. So I think there's so much of that little that our lives, instead of getting simpler, have gotten almost noisier and almost more distraction entrenched. So I would love to see something in the commerce space where that level of, wow, my life just got easier. My doing businesses just got easier. And it eliminated all of the fat that we've accepted that's kind of been grandfathered in, all the bloating. That would, to me, would be amazing. And I think revolutionary, actually.
Yeah, cool. You never know. Maybe we judged Jaguar too soon. They might come up.
No.
Oh, no.
They might be that.
No.
Okay. Jaguar's cancelled.
Look, I think 2025 is going to be insane. We went through a very tough time. A lot of small businesses went through a tough time in 2024. There was a downturn in the market earlier in the year. People have been holding off transactions. We're already seeing a massive increase in companies contacting us saying, we want to move forward now. Let's go. I think there's a very positive vibe in the market, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great.
Agreed.
Awesome.
Totally agreed.
And my wish is around community. I think I've seen a couple of businesses that have really took on that customer commerce and created such an incredible community of consumers and customers. And it's bigger than the product itself. It's the actual, what that company creates above that and what it really means to be part of that community. So I wish that in whichever retail kind of area, I think communities are a big thing for people's, well-being, and it just makes the world a better place. So in saying that, well, we wish everyone this whole new year, a very prosperous,
explosively prosperous. I would love it to be just absolutely just an avalanche of wonderfulness.
Same, with lots of love, lots of money, lots of happy customers everywhere. So until next week, we will see you then. Happy New Year, guys.
Adios.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you had an awesome time, leaving you with ideas on how to improve your business and wow customers. If you'd like to leave a real customer's story, head to the link in our show notes and cuss away. Love the show? Please subscribe and leave a review, because that enables us to help more businesses in building real relationships with customers and grow more rapidly. See you next time.